Hello guys, I hope you are doing well. I'm here to answer my Ccr question of my 8th level media final project. So the first question is how does your product use or talent, convention and how does it represent Total Group or Itu? Our film opening named Legacy. It's a total reality thriller and crime drama set in rural Pakistan. The story focused on Fahad, a teenage boy born in powerful with their family trapped in violence. The generational feud caused by land distribution and revenge. The opening segment introduced that the audience to the danger environment Fahad lived, where violence and fear are part of a everyday life. The main concept of the film that a young boy born in feudal family struggled to survive in world of control by revenge, violence, and inherited conflict. We use conventions because they help audience to understand the gender, atmosphere, and narrative style of the film. By combining contributions from thriller, social realism, and crime drama genre, we aim to create suspense, realism, and emotional engagement, while also highlighting the importance of society in Pakistani society. Our film focuses on feudal violence, abuse of power through the opening. In the opening, we show how lawlessness culture prevents Pakistan society. Our film our film focused on feudal violence, abuse of power, lawlessness, and revenge culture, which continue to impact many rural communities in Pakistan. Throughout the opening, we used several common film constructions to establish the tone and immediately communication. The family, social class, and power faith in transition are used at the beginning to slowly introduce the setting and create a cinematic atmosphere. We also use enigma code by presenting mystery and conflict without releasing everything at once. We don't reveal our character with dialogue, allowing the audience to understand his authority and lifestyle visuals. Ambient sound and Foley sounds such as horses, footsteps, breathing, wind, and dogs were included to create realism. Warm sunset, color grading we used to make it visual cinematic while also symbolizing hidden danger and tension. The peaceful landscape. The film strongly used thriller convention through suspense, ardent sudden conflict, and emotion shift. The tent, where the worker run toward Fahad in panic and announces the attack immediately create tension and stop. Social realism conventions are also used through the realism rural setting, naturalistic performance, and real life inspired conflicts to feudal violence and revenge culture. Crime drama conventions are represented through theme of power, fear, control, and violence between the rival groups. However, we also challenge creates conventions. Most thriller begins with immediate action or violence, but our opening starts with a destruction and panic. These controls make the violence more impactful and unexpected. We also challenge the convention of railing and heavily on dialogue by using visuals, camera movement, maiden chants, and sound design to communicate meaning and emotion. Additionally, transition crime drama often portray powerful men as fearless and emotionally dominated, but our protagonist is on experiencing stress and pressure, make its presentation more realistic and human. The main society represents our film is generational violence and feudal conflict. The narrative shows how land distributes and rent culture creates circle of violence. that continue from represent through visual elements such as the mentioned imported Russian dogs, horses, smoking, and workers serving the family. All of it symbolize wealth, authority, and violence system created by previous generations. Workers in the film are represented as vulnerable individuals who suffer because of conflict they didn't create, highlighting class inequality and exploitations within federal structures. Fahad also represents youth who inherit violence, trauma, and represent and responsibility from other generations, showing how young people can become trapped in dangerous systems without choice. We believe this issue is important because future conflict and revenge culture continue to affect certain rural certain communities in Pakistan, causing fear, instability, and loss of innocent lives. Through our project, we wanted audience to understand the emotion and total damage caused by inherited violence and misuse of power. To make the film realistic, we researched federal system in Pakistan, land ownership, conflict, rural violence, revenge culture, and conventions of social real late and thriller film. We also explored cinematography and sound technique used in thriller film to create tension and realism. In addition, we discussed the issue with students and local people who agreed that revenge culture of federal violence continues to damage families and communities with innocent workers often become victims of conflict between powerful individuals. The social issue is represented visually, directly, and symbolically throughout the opening. The attack on workers and burning wheat fields directly show violence and destruction, while the peaceful sunset visuals indirectly symbolize hidden danger beneath normal life. Sound also played an important role at heavy breathing, panic in dialogue, footsteps, horses, and ambient rural sounds increase emotional tension and realism. Several times and symbols are used to begin destroyed by violence. The mansion symbolizes power, wealth, and federal authority. The Russian dog and horse symbolize status and dominance, while fire represents thoughts, revenge, anger, and destruction. Russian dog and horse symbolize masculinity and dominance, while fire represents thoughts, revenge, anger, and destruction. Media theorists also support the meaning of our product. According to a media theorist, audience may interpret the film differently depend on the experience and beliefs. Some people may see in the film as criticism of federal violence and revenge culture, while others may focus more on honor and family conflicts. Younger audience may emotionally connected with Fahad's struggle and pressure, and the other theory, Alvarado theory of representation, is relating because our film avoids unrealistic stereotype and inherited pressure ruler society in a serious and realistic way. Rather than romanticizing federal culture, Laura Mulvey male gag theory is also challenged because our project does not focus on sexualized representation or objectification. Instead, the narrative focuses on violence, power, emotional pressure, and conflicts, or our film opening used convention for thriller, social realism, and crime drama genre to create suspense and realism while representing the serious social issue of generation violence and federal conflict through cinematography, sound, symbolism, and media sense. We aim to create an emotional, engaged, and realism opening that encourage audience to reflect on the damaging effect of the revenge culture rather than inherited violence within society.